I'm glad that little thing popped up and said, Mike muted. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a matinee edition. I mean, we're only an hour sooner than normal, only an hour earlier than normal. Only an hour earlier than normal. As you can see, this is thrown off my whole day. So thank you for joining us on this September 21st edition of Tuesday with Todd. What are we, first fall? Fall started just a couple hours ago, right? And tomorrow's the first full day, I believe. So let me know, how's the weather in your neck of the woods today? I mean, for us here, we were 90s yesterday or Sunday, and yesterday was high 80s, and then today the bottom dropped out last night, and it was chilly. Chilly, had to put on the sweatshirt. Still got the shorts and the sandals on, but I'll rock that hoodie, and we'll be rock solid. So check in, let me know how you're doing. How's your day going? Today we got some fun stuff. We're going to talk a little Puff HTV. Now, Puff HTV is kind of a unique thing because not all of it is made the same. There are different characteristics from brand to brand. So we'll talk about those. I've tested out a few different ones. Can't say for 100% if I think I've found the perfect one yet. There's a couple more that I'm waiting, but as with anything, there's a big stock shortage on things, and Puff HTV is one of them. Some certain vendors. So while you may be able to find it from vendor, the distributor might not have it. So, we'll talk about the issues with those because what you want to do is find something that's going to work best for you. Some news and notes coming up for you. We'll talk about that, and if you stick around to the end, we're going to talk about a little thing called a flash sale that we're going to put on tomorrow for just a few short hours tomorrow night, as a matter of fact. So, you'll want to stick around to the end for that. So let's check in, see how everybody's doing. Darren, as always, thanks for stopping by. Mo, good to see you. Good afternoon to you as well. And what's up, Chuck? Evening to you. And yeah, it's still early here. Kim, my birthday twin, how are you doing today? Matthew, howdy. Trying StarCraft for Dark today. Ooh, you have to let me know how that goes because I have some of that sitting over on that table as well. And Valerie, good to see you. Reason that we're doing an early time today is, if you didn't know, the Dynasty has started as a soccer coach. I got forced into being a soccer coach, and so far we're 2-0, and we actually have a game tonight, and the game tonight is at 6. So if we did our traditional time of 5 to 6, that wouldn't work too well. So we have it over there, which it should be interesting because one of my players is sick. Another one is going to show up. So we're going to play with half of our players because we only have 4. We play 4-on-4, 6U. I try and keep their heads out of the net, keep them from eating grass and pulling the grass up. So it's kind of like herding cats. It's definitely I give it up to those coaches that want to do it, because the coach that I'm not saying I didn't want to do it, but I took the responsibility of doing it. So that way, hey, we had a coach. So that's what's going on tonight. So that's why we were able to move it up an hour earlier. So I don't know if this new time, I like my 5 o'clock. My 5 to 6 kind of works. So I think we'll definitely stick with that. But for this edition, we'll see what we got. So let's talk HTV, right? So I got some right here. Now, Puff HTV, right? This stuff here is the Fashionflex Puff. So I get this from Specialty Graphics, right? Specialty Graphics, because they're specialty materials, Specialty Graphics. Get it from Specialty. The thing about Puff that you're going to want to know, like this stuff here, a lot of the stuff I only see only came in 2 colors. So you had your black and you had your white. Now this Fashionflex Puff does come in about 20 colors. So there is quite a bit of colors with it. The temp range on it is going to be different for each color. Like the white presses at 290, the black presses at 305, and then the pink and neons, pinks and neons 275, all other colors, so black, all the other colors are 305. So there's 3 different temperatures depending on the color that you're using. So that's something to keep in mind here. One of the big things is that, vinyl, you have the shiny side, right? And you have the dull side. So you've got a shiny side and a dull side. So which side would you traditionally cut your vinyl on? Because this thing is a little bit different. Traditionally, we cut on the matte side, correct? You cut in mirror on the matte side, press down. With Puff, at least the puff that I've used to this point, we're cutting on the shiny side. So that's something that you have to remember and get used to because it's a different ball game. The other thing, as I think I got them over there, I'll show you when we get over to the press, is that there's a couple backings to it. I've seen some that have had a low tack back, so things just barely stick to it. Some with a static back, which means if you're peeling it up, that's it. There's no putting it back. If you've used brick, some of the bricks are like that as well, that once you peel it up, it is no bueno. So you don't want to do that. And some have a sticky back, a really sticky one. So it doesn't matter what your design is, it's going to weed well. One of the things to remember when it comes to puff is what it's going to do is it's heat activated. So once it gets hit with the heat, it's going to puff up. So it's going to expand. So you got to think about your design and how small it is, any of those internal cavities, those letters, because that stuff's going to puff up. So we've got a couple designs that we're going to do. So I'm going to show you one it's a really good one, that should show everything well with it. I got one that is going to look good weeded, but then you're going to see what happens when it goes to puff. And then I'm going to weed one for you and press it, and that way we'll go start finish on the pressure on that way. I said I use this on a unicorn shirt for the granddaughter. That's a great idea. I'm going to do the little Halloween ones here for the kids. And Martha, hello to you. Jerry, hello to you as well. So like I said, this stuff, this Fashionflex Puff came from Specialty Graphics, I do believe. Linda, good to see you. I tried to get it from StarCraft. StarCraft itself is sold out of it with no known in-stock date. Because one of the things that we did do today is we became a vendor for good old StarCraft up there. So we've got some equipment on order. So we'll be able to supply you with, the 15 by 15 mint press, the solos when those come out. We're going to do a pre-order for those. The big thing we got it for was some of the specialty stuff. We're going to see if we can get some of the puff when it comes in. But we ordered a bunch of glitter. We ordered because Corey does fairly well with that, so I figured why not? Let's bring it in. So we're going to try and do our best to put some package bundles deals together for you. We will be doing a giveaway for. I'm thinking I'm going to probably first quarter. By the time we get everything worked out and where it is, we're probably going to do a good starters bundle where we're going to do a nice big equipment going there. I did trick you on the time. Because I put everywhere that it was going to be early, so I tricked you. That was my whole thing to do. Eric, good to see you. Jerry, the new cutter is coming well nicely. I will be 100% honest. I have not devoted the time to it that it needs. Reason being is because we have a lot of other things going on, between our normal production, our DTF, everything else. I need to dedicate time to it because just like, somebody new with a new piece of equipment. One of the things I did find out is if you currently have Corel, there's the plugin, so you don't even have to mess with any of the StarCraft software. You can go straight to the cutter with it. So just like the Cameo, when you have the Cameo Connect, where you don't even have to mess with the software, you can go straight from Corel to there. Same thing is going to happen with the Solo. One of the things we talked about doing today was kind of doing some rearranging and making kind of a studio area where I can set up the new press when that comes. I can set up the craft cutter there, the Solo. And I think that might be where, that's going to be where the laser is going to go. I'm going to get that K40 up and going and be able to show some things on the laser side of that. My software that I have with it, I tried messing around with it earlier today, and it was as garbage as I remember. And so I'm looking at a couple different options, and so we can get that up and going. So I'm going to kind of create like a whole little studio where everything is right there, and I'm not going to have to move everything every time. So that's kind of what we're going for and looking at there. Ree, good evening to you. The wall looked great, by the way. Good job to you, Ree. Great. That's what I like to hear. Great. So back to Puff. Now, Puff, if you've never used it before, it is a 3-dimensional material, right? So think of your brick, where your brick is already a standard thickness. This starts thin. It's pretty thin when it starts. And then after it's heat activated, we're going to see it puff up. Now, this stuff only needs one press. There are some out there that require 2 presses. This is going to be something that you're going to need to pay attention to. So when you order your stuff, make sure you are reading the instructions, because like I said, the differences that I've seen is I've seen stuff press as low as 285 for 10 seconds, and then you hit it again after you peel it for another 10 seconds. This, like I said, is 305. Even this in this color line, the whites are 290. The pink and neon is 275, and then all the other colors are 305. So there's a variation of time or of temperature there. All the time is the same. You're going to cut and mirror on all of them. Everything I have seen, like I said, traditionally you would cut out on this side. That's the side that we're used to. If we got a shiny side and a dark side, we're used to cutting on the dark side. With Puff, you're cutting on that mirror side. You're going to cut on that gloss side. So that's something to think about too. Always run a test cut to make sure that you have your blade pressure set correctly. For mine, what I set it for was glitter. I started with glitter because it is a little bit thicker than regular HTV. Not as thick as glitter, so I probably could have went down, but I already had the preset for it. Did test cut on it, and it worked great. So that's what I stuck with on there. Weeded was great. We're going to show you. I've got stuff over there, so we're going to show you weeding from there. But I think without further ado, we get over there and we press some stuff and see how it all turns out. Because I think we can make this a fun little thing. All right. So I got to make sure I move the mic so I don't trip and die this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a pretty basic design. Nothing too crazy. I got to make sure I have the same. Okay. I make sure I don't screw these up, because these are the kids' shirts, right? Nobody wants to screw up their kids' shirts, right? So, do you need to pre-press the garment? Well, that is kind of an up to you question, because not everybody will pre-press a garment. Some do, some don't. Nowhere in the instructions does it say that you should. One thing that it does say, though, and I've seen this pretty much on all of them, is your fabric content. So here we are with the Bella shirt, and this one is the 100% cotton. Good to go. Blends, good to go. So your uncoated polyester, your cotton, your fabric blends, your polyacrylic, similar fabrics, those are all good to go for the Puff. The nylon, though, no nylon. Don't use this on nylon. It's not going to work. So from here, let's see what we can do. So it's Halloween time, right? We're coming up on Halloween. I know it's still next month. I am going to pre-press this because it does have some wrinklers in it. There, good enough, right? So here's what we got. I'm going to make sure that you can see that out of my way, and I need to get that. And that's why I need another studio to make the studio, because I can see that I'm covering everything right here. So by doing it this other way, I won't do that. So here we can see we got the shirt. Now this stuff does have a sticky back on it. Is it super? No. Is it good enough? Yes. So is it going to hold detail? Yeah. But some of them have that static carrier. So that static carrier is when, if you pull something off, it's not going back on. So this one, sticky. So not too worried there. We're going to come up here. We're going to make sure that's set here. Medium pressure. And we're pressing this for 10 seconds. So we can see how thin that is, right? You can see that. You can see how thin everything is here. Let's see what happens when we hit this with some heat. Because this is 305 for 10 seconds. And we're going to peel it warm. Let's see, my friends, what we get here. Boom, come up. Oh, and you can see it changed. You push this off of here. We're going to peel, and look at that magic. Awesome, right? Look at that. So where that crease was, why was there a crease? Because I had something in the back of it. So yeah, we're going to want everything out of it, because that totally jacked up the back. It might go down. But as you can see, I might have to take it over I'm going to take it over to the other screen for you. So that way you can see what it looks like, and then an up-close version of it. So up close version. So you can see there's some good thickness on it. Is that crease in it? Yep. So you're going to want to make sure what it was is on the back of the shirt. That part of the shirt had a nice big crease in it. I didn't even think about it. But that's what it did, was it pushed up through here. Now, as it's going, it's starting to move it down. But you can see thickness all the way through there. So it has some good depth to it. You can see it kind of sucked up some, but it did keep the detail. You can see where it, where I'm going to try and get it here in the ear, and you can kind of see. But that's kind of where it's at. You can see there. So it does have some good, it does raise up, it is good for there. So now what we're going to show you is a design that looks good weeded, but is not a good design for puff because of that expansion and that puff. You're going to want to make sure you have voids because this stuff has to go somewhere. So I'm going to show you what that looks like next. All right, so we'll get back over here. We'll bring the mic so I don't die. And here we go. So we've got another shirt. Here it is. Ta-da, ta-da. And you can see the design. I'm going to try and move my hand out of the way. There we go. See the design. There's a bat. It's got some little detail in it. There's, the heart in there. Cute little design. Cute little bat, right? Perfect. So now let's make sure I don't screw this one up, even though I don't want to screw this one up. So there's nothing in the way there. We're going to put this guy on here. And let's see what happens with this guy when we do it. Because we see all the detail that's in here, right? We've seen all that. So let's see how this one turns out. Now, I know what it's going to look like because I'm almost positive because I've screwed it up and not thought about it before. So there it is. It comes off. Warm peel. So we peel away. And look at that. So as you can see, and I'll go over to the other screen so you can see a little bit better. As you can see when we get over here, that design just went away. I mean, there's nothing there, right? You can kind of see where the heart was. You can kind of see where those lines were supposed to be. But for the most part, everything that we had any kind of down here in the ribs, those are gone. The lines in the wings, it adds a good dimension to it. It definitely makes it look cool. But if that was detail that you needed to have, where I would see it being screwed up at is in that fine text. So on my shirt, we've got this text that's on here. If we run this, it's just going to all together. So it is not going to do well. So you need to make sure that you have your design choices picked out and know what you're going to do. Because if you're okay with that look, then great. But if you needed those ribs in there, if you needed that more detail of that spacing in there, it's not going to be good. So that's where puff isn't the greatest at for fine detail. The other thing on fine detail is it's going to depend on which puff that you use, because some of that puff that is the static carrier, and what I mean by static carrier is there's no adhesive on it. It's pretty much static that's holding it there. You're going to have an issue trying to keep some of that small detail, like in the face, the nose, and the mouth, trying to keep that on the paper or on the transfer itself. So that's something to keep in consideration too. It's the type of vinyl that you're using. So know what your vinyl is, know your specifications of it, know whether it's a tacky back, know if it's a static back, so you know which way to design with it. The other thing is your design size and detail. Left these numbers or these letters probably aren't going to be the best for it, because as you can see with that small detail, they just all end up together there. Now, as far as weeding this stuff, is pretty legit. I mean, it's not difficult to weed. I've got another design, another shirt. We're going to do all that together so that way you can see that. I'm going to take a drink here. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns before we get back over to the press? That's the other thing. This is why I need that little studio thing, because it's to be able to see comments and stuff everywhere. This way I can just have it on the screen, and I can have it on the screen, and I can see everything from where I'm at. So when I'm looking here and I'm pressing there, I can see it on the screen behind me. I can see it there. I'll know who I'm talking to and what I'm doing. One of the other things too on this is somebody asked about cost. So I'm going to do a quick cost comparison for you. Just so you can get an idea of it. Like I said, we were going to try and carry it, but it's currently on back order, and it does not know when they're going to get it in. So it's kind of hard for me to carry something when we don't know what it is, when it's going to come in. So realistically, what I'm seeing is your Caesar Easy Weed, right? If you go a 12 by 20 inch, right? So if we go a 20 inch, right, 20 inch foot, so 20 inches wide by a foot, $4.25. If we look at Puff in that same dimension, you're going to get that 19.5 inch, so let's call it 20, by that foot at $4.99. So when you're ordering just a foot of it, 75% difference. 75 cent, not 75%, excuse me, 75 cent, roughly 74-cent difference. So is it a huge cost? Not really. Like through specialty, I'm looking at the site here. If you're going to buy 15 feet, which is 5 yards, it drops it down to $3.66 a foot. Now on the Caesar side of things, if you go that route, so we can compare kind of apples to apples and know where it is. On the 20 inch, you're looking at $3.30 for the 20 inch, and 20 inch wide, 15 feet. So, it doesn't cost a whole lot more, but to me, this significantly looks better than a flat HTV. This that we used here is called the, let me just make sure that I get it correct. So I don't, because it's the it's the Fashionflex, right? Is that what I said? Fashionflex. We're going to just double check to make sure. Fashionflex Puff. And we got this from Specialty Graphics Supply. But this is the stuff that we're using. So as you can see, like I said, the cost isn't a whole lot more. But the amount of dimension, the amount of texture, the amount of upcharge that you can charge for this because of it being the process, unique, something different, something cool. I mean, that definitely makes up for it. So something pretty cool there. Okay. So hopefully, Dax, I got that for you. The fashion, I got the thing over there. I'll show you the chart for it before we start weeding stuff. But like I said, if you're late to the party and you're just getting here, what we're doing is we are doing some Puff HTV. Now with the Puff HTV, like I said, a couple of the things to remember. It's not all Puff HTV is created the same. Some backers are different. Some have a static backer. And what does that mean? A static backer means that there's no adhesive holding it on there. It's actually static. So if you remove a piece that wasn't supposed to be removed, good luck putting it back on because it's not going to happen. Some have a tacky back. This one has a tacky back. One of the other things too is traditionally we usually cut on the matte side, and the shiny side is our carrier. When it comes to Puff, it's the opposite. So you're going to be cutting on the shiny side, the glossy side. And this side here is your carrier. So we're going to weed one of those so you can see it there. But I like it. I think it's something that adds, that new dimension to it. It totally reminds me of the 80s because, when I was growing up, it was pretty cool. There was tons of, that's what you would get your names on. You would go to the mall store and you could have the Puff names and Puff numbers. I know if you were my age, young, maybe not younger, my age older, for sure, you remember the Puff, and what's good before is good again. So we're seeing more of it. I'll bring up the sheet so you can see some more things on it. But like I said, there are some other smaller vendors that do carry the Puff. Just make sure to read your instructions because, like I said, not all the Puff is the same. There's different backings to it. There's different cut settings. There's different time and temperature settings. So whatever puff you get to try, just remember you need to pay attention to what the settings, the recommended factory settings are for you, manufacturer settings. So that way you make sure to get your really good results for it. As far as cutting, I used my pressure at same thing I used for glitter HTV. So I tested that. It didn't cut through the backing. So we were spot on with that. All right. We are going to get back over to that other camera, and I'm going to weed one for you. I'll show you the paperwork on all this, and you can see all that fun stuff. So give me 1 second. We'll get back over there. Had to take a little drink. I'm a little parched today. So here's the stuff that we got. This is the Fashionflex Puff. As you can see, as far as acceptable things, I don't know if you can read that. Cotton, uncoated polyester, fabric blends, polyester acrylic, and similar fabrics, excluding nylon. So no nylon. Now, this is available in 19.5-inch wide only rolls. You can get it by the foot. You can get it by the yard. Just depends on there. Thickness is 4.9 mil. Yeah, mils, 14 or 4.9 mils to 6.7. So it does have, what is that, a 25% increase? 125 microns to 170. This cannot be layered. Remove carrier immediately after presser, and if the carrier or transfer sheet is left on, it can create inconsistencies with the puff material. So what that means is as soon as you press it, make sure that you're pulling it off. One of the things that I see with this when it says it cannot be layered. My assumption is by cannot be layered is we cannot layer another product on top of this. I have seen puff on top of other things. So I think as long as this is your top layer, you should be good, but that's up to you to do the testing on it to see what's going to work best for you. Clear plastic side needs to face up while cutting. Peel a corner to determine which side is which. 45-degree blade. Cut material in mirror image. For white, it's at 290. For pinks and neons, 275. And all other colors are 305. Medium even pressure for 10 seconds. Hot deal. Remove immediately. As always, with most every decorated items, we're going to wash inside out, cold water, gentle cycle, tumble low to dry, hang to dry. That's what we're going to tell our customers. None of them listen, so I don't even know why we tell them, but that's the case there. Now, as far as color selection of this Fashion Film Plus, we have white, black, red, green, royal blue, navy blue, yellow, orange, gray, a dark gray, burgundy, and purple, a camel, khaki, and pink, which that does not look khaki to me. That is not what I think of when I think khaki. So, and then they have the neon colors, the neon yellow, neon green, neon orange, neon pink, and neon blue. So these are specialty materials. It is the manufacturer, Fashionflex Puff. So if you have a vendor that carries the specialty materials, they should be able to get you the puff for it. Now, as far as weeding, here we go. We're going to weed. We're going to see what it is. I'm going to see if I have any questions, comments, or concerns before I get to weeding. It looks like we are good to go there. So weeding is pretty straightforward on this. It's not difficult. The most difficult part for me is deciding where to start because I'm here with you because this camera is in my way. So we're going to go over here and pull it away from us. So weeding, like I said, when you do a test cut and your stuff is good to go, things weed like butter. I use my Graph Tech on this. Why? Because I'm comfortable with it. Let's be honest. I didn't want to be testing things out, and I was already stressed out about the day as it was. So it just made it easy because I knew what the results I was going to get. That was the key. Is I didn't want to be screwing with things because I only had a limited supply of this. When it comes to the StarCraft things, we are going to be bringing some vinyl in-house. Stuff that we use, we're going to do, and we're going to be able to break down. So your white and your black. We're going to be competitively priced on it. If you do any glitter, we're going to have that in stock as well. So look forward to that. What I'm looking at on the glitter side of things is I want to create more of kind of like the bundles. So if you want to do a beach cup. Here's a cup. Here's the glitter that you need for it. Do a sunset cup. Here's a cup. Here's the glitter that goes along with it. You want to do a snowy cup or whatever. Here's that. So that's what I'm looking at doing on it. Weeding in the dark is great. But as you can see, this does not weed bad at all. Even I can pull straight from the center on things. I know where it is. I can't see. I've got things in the way. I'm trying to keep it there. Now I need to make sure I grab that one. Oop, did I screw it? Nope, I got it. Because I would assume that if I screw this up, I'm going to turn it here so we're not there. And I pull the wrong thing and I put a pole on it, you're definitely going to notice that. So try not to do that. There's one great thing about glitter. Glitter is super forgiving. So if you screw it up or tear it in that, you wouldn't even know. This, not so much. So you've seen how simple, easy that we did. Like I said, this does have a sticky back, so it holds it down. Making a great shirt for Corey because she is kind of classy, but she's also kind of hood too. So she didn't even know we were making this for her. I didn't even tell her. I just told her to grab me a shirt that she likes, and I'm going to make it for her so she can wear this with pride. So the shirt that she threw at me was probably a Bella 3001. So it's our go-to brand here in-house, and that it is. So since this is her shirt, I know I get yelled at because I put things too far down and I don't pay attention when it comes to her. And hey, I'm going to do my best to make sure that this is perfect, just the way that she wants. Make sure there's no damn crease in it, so that way I don't screw it up. I'm going to give it a quick pre-press to get the stuff out of there. There, we look good. Now, I know when it comes to pressing shirts, some people use the hand method. Is there 4 fingers? Is there 3 fingers? Is there 2 fingers? Is there 1 finger? Whatever. You're going to want to do what looks good to you, because not everybody's hand is the same size. My 4 fingers could be different than your 4 fingers. 2 fingers different than yours. So this is where, yes, there is a set general area here. Go across from the armpits. That's kind of general central area. But sometimes that's just too high or too low, depending on it. So you just kind of look, when you're heat pressing shirts, the last thing you want is to design on a belly. If a person is chesty, you don't want that to have an issue too. So, right about there, as far as centering things, I use my eyeballs, but there are other ways that, people use the tools. In fact, I thought I had it right here. I do have a T squared around here. I found it when we were moving stuff around. I forgot I had it, and that was the thing was old. But we do have that. I couldn't tell you the last time I used it. I don't think it's the fastest thing to use, especially when I can just use my hands for it. I've seen other people that'll fold the shirt and they will put a crease in the shirt so they know where their center line of the shirt is, and then they'll fold their transfer and they'll line up the two. Perfectly fine. When it comes down to this, it's what works for you. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for somebody else. But you have to figure out what works for you and what you're comfortable doing. The more and more you do something, the more and more comfortable you come with it. And when you become more comfortable with it, then you start to speed things up. Start looking, yep, eyeball, I can go with this. Yep, I know where that is here. So I'm going to put that right here. We're going to press this. I'm going to see if I have anything there. Perfect. All right, 305, 10 seconds, hot peel. So we're going to see the magic happen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's pop this bad boy up. Let's see the magic happen because it said peel it right away. And boom, boom, shaka, boom. Those are the kind of cool things right there. These are the things that, it's just, when we can do stuff like this, because you see that starting to raise more. Oh, when we do things like this, these are the things that make me happy. Seeing the coolness and to know that just a few short seconds ago, this was just a plain tee. There was nothing exciting about this at all. Yeah, sure, it was a Bella tee, which is awesome, and it has an amazing feel and a great color, but it was still just a blank tee. And we just created something amazing for it. It is kind of classy and it is kind of hood. It's just like my wife. I won't tell her that. I don't think she can hear me, so we're good. But I'll bring it over to the other screen. We can see it. We can show it off. We can talk about more things that we have going on and see what your thoughts are on stuff. So let's move back on over to this camera here. So, let's see. What do we got here? There we go. Future for solo. Yeah. Looking for StarCraft HD matte colors from you. For HTV, let me know. We're going to, like I said, our first order should be on its way. Once we get that, then we'll start ordering more in. One of the things is the amount that we have to order in, it depends on the color, because some of it just might not be cost effective to bring in right off the bat. So we'll continuously build our inventory off of it. But yes, we will be getting, I'm going to try and get as much of it in as I can. Future for Solo. So the Solo is supposed to come out October 1st. They're going to let me know, because there's hundreds of StarCraft dealers, and we just started, so there's plenty of people ahead of us in line that are able to get theirs. I just so happen to be able to get my number picked to be able to grab some presses, so those are on order. But once we get them, then once we know we can get them and we have them there, then we can do a pre-sale on them, and we're going to get you a great deal on it. Matt, good afternoon to you as well. Have you ever used the laser alignment tool? I don't like the T-square thingy. Okay, I have not used the laser alignment thingy. Laser alignment tool, not the T-square. T-squared I used. Seemed cumbersome. It did not seem fast. It just, I think there's way better things, but you're just starting off. I think it did its job. Laser alignment? No, I never used the laser alignment. Have I wanted to? Yeah, in the beginning, I definitely wanted. I wanted to see it. I want to try it. I want to go from there. I just was too cheap, too value conscious to think, oh gosh, should I spend that on the laser? Is it really going to work? Do I not need it? I don't know. Gary, hello to you as well. All right. So, remember. So here's the other thing, that through all of this, that now that we're 38 minutes in, there are separate channels that everybody's watching on. There's our Facebook group, our Facebook pages, our YouTube channels, our private groups. Now, if you have been commenting and you have not heard me reply to you or seen me reply to you, there's a reason for that. Not all channels play nicely with StreamYard. So the only way that I know to guarantee to see your comments is if you head over to our YouTube channels. So over on our YouTube channels, if you go to Fat Dad Live or liveosg.com, go to either one of those, and guess what? You'll be able to see us. And then when you're there, you can like and subscribe. Because as us becoming a StarCraft vendor, one of the things you're going to see is you're going to see some more crafty side of me. We're going to try and pull the same things that everyday users are doing with it. The craft ones that are trying there. What I'm going to try and do is to take you from being a craft hole to a craft. I got to figure out another word for it, because hey, there's value in you and what you do. You are worth something. You're worth a lot. So you need to make sure that what you're doing with this stuff, that you're charging accordingly for it. So we're going to talk more about the tips and tricks with that. Working through it. I want everybody to take the side hustle to the main hustle. And the way you can do that is, hey, you just listen more. Let's work together. One of the things that can definitely help you take you to that next level is joining our success group. In fact, right now we are taking memberships for our Masters of Success Inner Circle, which is, these are small groups, 4 to 7 people, where it's pretty much your business advisory board in your hands. These groups really work good together. It's a total safe zone. So anything goes, instead of bringing we've all been in that spot where we've tried to talk to other people about our business and they just don't understand it. They have no clue what we're talking about, and you feel lost and you want to try and reach out to people, but they're just not sure where to turn to. In this group, that's who you turn to. We're meeting every 2 weeks. There's private members chats and areas where you're able to talk with the other members. You're able to basically have that accountability, because otherwise we're usually unaccountable to ourselves, right? And who's going to tell me, hey, you totally slacked off because you said you were going to do this. Oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Having that business advisory board right there with you is definitely going to keep you going in the right direction. Everybody that we've talked to that's been in it has seen wonderful success. And a lot of times, I think part of the biggest things is just the ability to have somebody to talk to, about some of the issues that you have in your daily struggles of your business. So definitely check that out, oursuccessgroup.com/MOS. Accepting applications now through the end of the month. While you're there, you can definitely check out oursuccessgroup.com. You can learn about all the things that we do. And if you're watching us on any channel that's not in our Facebook group, make sure to give our Facebook group a shout out and give that a try. You can go over there, osgbusinessbasics.com. We had a great conversation today on lasers. Somebody had asked me about a Glowforge. And am I the only one that some of your best thoughts in thinking come when you're in the shower, right? Because that's where I kind of got the idea this morning of I need to set up a dedicated spot for just this, for doing demos, for creating videos. It'll make it a lot easier and consistent. So if I do that, I can make sure the lighting is right every time. I don't have any issues. I can just be good to go with it. But somebody had asked me about lasers. Now, I have a Chinese K40, the blue one. I purchased it 3 years ago. I brought it home. I tested it out, made sure it worked. And I put it up and said, I'll get to it. And I have not done anything with it since. So shame on me. I need to get that going. So where I said was, I've got a corner. And if we build up there, I can kind of have two things set up on each corner. Machine, equipment, get the new press. Everything is great. Good to go there. And that will just be for just production and things. And it got me thinking, laser. And somebody asked me about the Glowforge. And I remember when I did the pre-buy for the Glowforge and it kept getting pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And finally, I just canceled my order because I didn't think it was ever going to happen. And then they started delivering on it. And, there's issues and went back and forth and back and forth. And now that seems to be, somebody described it, I thought perfectly as what a Cricut is to a Graphtec is what a Glowforge is to, say, an Epilogue, right? So they're going to do different things, right? They're going to, in the same thing, they're going to both be lasers. One is just going to be a lot more efficient with it. And so it got me thinking, those that went with the Glowforge, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And those that decided not to go with the Glowforge and pick something else, I wanted to hear your opinion on it too. Because I think, I've got the K40 that maybe, which I'm almost positive is the same as the Omtech. Is that right? Is that how you say that? Omtech, Omtech. Yeah, something like that. I'm looking at, what they have in that 40 watt range. And they've got the same thing, and it's only got a small area, like an 8x12. So it isn't huge or anything. But it's fairly reasonable. It's under $600 if I remember right. It's going to get you that taste for lasers. They're going to let you dip your toe in to see where it is, and then if you decide you need to go farther with it, I think it's going to fit just right for that. The other thing too is I have somebody that takes care of all of my laser work for me. Renee, great friend of the show, great friend of the family, great friend in general. She handles our laser work for us. So if I'm going to do production on something, I would send it to her. What would I personally use a laser for? Well, I think in the future, the only thing I would use a laser for is if I got one, it would be cut my own blanks for it, something like that. As far as the production part of things, engraving names and doing bigger orders, let somebody that has the good, great laser handle that, because their work's been amazing so far. If I'm going to use it every once in a while, then hey, this desktop one might just take the cake for it, and that might be what it needs to be. So I think there's a couple different ways and things to look at it when it comes to making purchases like that. Is what is your plan for the machine? What is that machine going to do for you? Because there are people that only have lasers, and that's their only business. So if you're going to bring a laser in, you need to make sure that laser, one, you have the time for it. I brought a laser in. I didn't do anything with it. I just, whatever. Because it can be a costly investment. For the same cost, one of the things that I came across when talking with the Glowforge people, is a lot of them are super happy with what they have. They knew what they were getting when they got into it. They were good with it. Other ones realized they quickly outgrew it based on size and strength that the machine that they got had. And that same price point, you can find, lasers with like the 24 by 36 cutting area. So you can get quite a bit bigger with it. Where I think the Glowforge fits perfectly at is those ones that are just starting off, to not sure if they want to do it, and those limited on space. That's the thing about the desktop one. It's not a giant oversized laser. The other thing too is it's not a giant size investment. When you're looking at something like an Epilogue, you're going to spend, $10,000 plus on it. Knowing that going into it, and you're going to have the business for it in there, then it makes sense. You're going to have all these people when you buy new equipment that says you only need to produce X to make the payment on it. Well, how do they know what X is? How do they know what my numbers are? And how do they know that my business can sustain that? And so I always say, when you're looking at getting a new piece of equipment, especially if it's a big investment, and a big investment can be big to anybody. Some people's big investment is $1,500. Other people's big investment might be $15,000. But you got to make sure that it fits your budget and that it's able to produce out and go from there. So depending on where your price point is, where your budget is, you need to know what your numbers are, and you need to, have this built into your numbers. Hey, I need to make a payment of $350, $400, $200, whatever it is, to make sure that you're able to pay for this each month. Because the last thing that you want to do is buy a piece of equipment and then go ahead and get screwed, right? Because you're like, I'm stuck in this payment that I can't have. I can't afford this. I'm not pushing things out there. So really, really make sure that, that you're in it, that you're in it to win it. Now, you like that, Linda? A good comparison for you printer folks out there. What this is a comparison of, because who was it? Was it Wade? Somebody gave a great comparison of it. They said it was like the Roland BN20 to the VG 540, 520, 540, VG 540. They're both in a results, but man, that VG kicks the hell out of that BN20. So there's the print side of it for you. And same as Vision Express versus large table CNC engravers. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I've actually looked at, it's been a couple of years now, but I was looking at the what is that? I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong. The Lagmer Crossfire. Is that what it was? Plasma CNC. I've been looking at them. I just wanted it to play. And, you can get them for about $3,000. The results are so-so because, a lot of it depends on the plasma cutter that you get. And of course, you can go up, and up from there. If it's not going to be something that you're doing all the time, is it really worth it to put in there? There's so many variables to it. So think about that when it comes to what your equipment is. And see here, great example. You had a BN20 because of space. Exactly. When you get them in the VG2s and when you get them in the 54-inch ones, you've got a 54-inch printer. So just think about that, 54 inches. So that's 4.5 feet. But there's usually a foot or two on each side of that. So you're talking, a 7-foot printer, 8-foot printer. That takes up a lot of real estate in a lot of places. So not every place can have that. Portability, you're not moving that around. Once it's there, it's on wheels and it can move back and forth. But it's still a giant pain to do. So you have to think about that. Having that BN20, guess what? Tabletop, done. So that space thing, same with the lasers on it. And here, you have the BN20 and the VG2 540. I wish everyone went straight to the VG2. So here's the thing on that. And Kyle over here at Annie-Up, that's where you can get some StarCraft Puff HTV. I believe they have about 88 sheets of the black. I might have been stalking your site, Kyle, because when I sent out the email, I went ahead and just linked it to you. So that way, anybody that wanted it for there could go from there because, hey, if you're help out a friend, if I can, right? So when I started off with the 300. So I started off with the 30-inch one, right? I outgrew that within like 3 months of it. It was, I realized, because I thought, oh my God, this thing is amazing. And I loved watching it. I'm like, this thing is the coolest. And then when I went to that 54, and the reason being is banners. So the 30-inch, is 30 inches. So you could do a 2x4 banner, but you couldn't do a 4x8. So 2x4, that was it. That was pretty much your cutoff. And a lot of people wanted 4x8 banners. So that sucked. So it was like, okay, so we went ahead and we got the 54-inch. Well, hey, now a 48-inch, I can do, it's just 2 feet, So my time, my speed, my efficiency, everything kicked up with it. And so we've got the SP 540 and I love it. If I was printing more, and I think in the future that might happen, we're going to go, we'll probably go VG2. But for now, it's a workhorse. I love it. Why rock the boat? I can fix everything that's on it. And until the VG2 becomes where I can get into service mode, I don't know if I want it. Because I like being able to fix my own stuff and change things out and go from there. You have the X-Carve CNC. I picked it up for about half the price. Now we're talking. When you can score deals on things, that's what I love. Deals, and if there's something that's broke that you can fix on it. Those are two things. If you're able to take what you're able to get and it needs some work on it, there's a couple P600s that I have en route that need some issues, and I've got some extra scavenging parts for it, so we're going to build out a couple of those so that way we can have there. Yes, it does need its dedicated spot, absolutely, because that big footprint. This thing is now the one thing. So I was looking, I was on the fence, to go VG2. Should I go ahead and get it? I go to the trade shows, you see everything great, you hear everybody talking about it. Oh, it's got the white ink. Don't ever get the white ink. Don't ever put white ink in the machine, because it's just a pain. Don't deal with it. You can get the orange ink or the green ink, right? The orange. Put the orange in this place, you're going to have killer results on that. But with those, you have to load from the back. So here's a 54-inch roll of vinyl that you're loading from the back of something down. It's kind of a pain, especially when you see the HPs and they load from the front. So HP, like the 365, you can put that right up against the wall, and you're able to get in there. On the Rollins, you got to make sure there's room to get around that. So you want at least 3 foot in back of it. And then in front of it, you're going to want to keep it at least 3 feet in front of there. And you want to keep a foot or two on each side of it going around from there. So it does take up a lot of real estate. So definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at any piece of equipment, is where is it going? The other thing too is, what is my power supply like? I've seen that where somebody had got the HP and it required 220. Where they had it, where they wanted to put it, was clear on the other side of where their fuse box was. So it was quite a sum to run that there. And they had to make the decision, are we moving this closer to that, or are we bringing the line closer here? Because it was quite a sum. And it was a retail location. So they had to think, they're not getting anything back. They're just running the building. Is it worth it to do it? I think they end up moving it closer back. Same thing with the heat presses. When you go to those oversized heat presses, think about what your power requirements are for it. Because if you're going to need to run power, that's something to definitely take a look at. Anytime. Hey, thanks for everything that you do. So you do the things that you do well. So if we're able to just send some people over your way, of course we will, until we start selling some of it, and then whatever. But no, I don't want it. Corey had talked about opening up a craft store. We've kind of had that on the back burner for a couple of years, and when we were in the mall, we're like, hey, this is perfect, let's do it. And then she kind of realized that she likes not having to be tied to a store. So when you don't have to be tied to a store, it makes things a lot easier, and having that all overhead. So I think we're just going to stick online and make it easier. Basically, was able to get some equipment, bring in some glitters. It was great to people to deal with and have some fun over there with the Scarcraft folks, which I do believe, we're going to head down and maybe check the place out next month and see how it all works out there. Would that puff work on HT anything? That's a pretty good question. Do I have any HT anything? I do not have any HTV anything up here. I will have to get some in. I would assume so. Yeah, because you're just pressing it, because HTV anything, you're pressing up there, you're peeling it off. Yeah, I would think it would just be, I don't think there would be any issue with it. There's only one way to find out, right? Is you just do it. I mean, don't get scared. Just go out there and do it. Need trade shows to see equipment in action. NBM used to be in Orlando, but stopped their shows here. Yeah, because you were supposed to have the SGIA, or Printing United, next month, here in just a few short weeks, because I was going to go. We were going to head down there. We're going to have a great old time, and that's not happening now. Because everything that's going on and vendors pulling out, that show got canceled this year. So it's going to be in Vegas next year. We'll definitely go to Vegas for that show. I think the next closest one to you is Charlotte. Is that right? Charlotte or Atlanta? They'll have one down that way. But yeah, for us, NBM is about 5 hours away. Though when they move it to Indianapolis, when it comes through there, it's about 5 hours away. Milwaukee, we did that 1 year, and it was a really small show. There wasn't a whole lot there. The Denver show was a really nice show when we did that show. So, and if anybody has trade shows in your area, my limit's six. And what I mean by my limit's 6 hours. If you can get to a trade show within 6 hours, do it. It is worth it to you and your business to see what else is out there. Not only to see what else is out there, but to see the people that are out there. That's where some of the best friends came from. In fact, half of my wedding party was made up with people from the industry. Why? Because they're my people. And so it worked out well. We had a great time with it. but you're meeting those people that, you're in there talking with, having a good time with. They know the things that you're running through. But trade shows, if you can get to one, get to one. And I think the next one is Pittsburgh. I believe there's one in Pittsburgh here in the next couple of weeks or so. Yeah, I think that's right. Charlotte. So yeah, I was close. All right. So to wrap things up, we did HTV Puff on, let me get that banner off of there. HTV Puff, we did that, and you can see that there is, look at that dimension. Look at that. There it is. There we go. Look at that dimension on there. We can see that there's some I really like that. I really like how that turned out. I'm really happy about that. Kind of classy, kind of hood. It's kind of my life, so that's kind of good. So it works out good there. Remember, when you're doing it, you want to stay away from that fine detail because it's going to go in there and it's just going to suck it all up, and you're going to lose it in there. So don't do that. So big, bold designs, things with a lot of spacing. So when you can do, something big and bold like that one, as we can see, make sure that there's no creases in the shirts because, hey, it'll come back to bite you there. So that's Puff HTV. Going back through it, not all of them are built the same. So you're going to want to make sure that you follow your manufacturer's instructions. Not all have the sticky back. Some have the static back. So what that means is don't go with small detail because, hey, chances are if it's static back, it might not be there when you need it to be. They're going to press various times, anywhere from 285 to 305. 10 seconds. Some will need a second press. That's something I didn't say. Some, like this one we saw as soon as we pulled it off, we were good. Other ones, once you pull it off, you need to go back and hit it that second time for it. So just make sure you follow your directions. If something didn't work, see where your directions are. One other thing I think I have over there, and I'm going to see if I can see it. And if not, I'm going to grab it and bring it back over here. Yes, you'll be able to see it here. So one of the things that we got going on is tomorrow's like the first full day of fall. And so I figured what better thing to do on the first day of fall than to run some flash sales, right? So we're going to run a flash sale on all of our Halloween and fall themed ready to press DTF transfers. So we're going to do 25% off. This is going to start tomorrow night at 6 p.m. It's going to go 6 p.m. to midnight. So 6 hours. That's what you're going to get. You're going to be able to get any of our ready to press transfers. Oh, those ones I guess I stole those from an order. I better put them back. So that's tomorrow night. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and maybe do this once a week. We're going to try and once a week-ish get in here and get you a flash sale on some of the new stuff, things we might have. They said we're going to have tomorrow night. Boom. Ready to press DTF transfers 25% off. The code for that, I don't even know if I'm going to put the code up here and flash the code to you because I don't know. I guess I could. It's super simple, right? Flash 25. Did I say that line? I'll drop that in here. Flash 25. Flash 25. Oh, 25. Missing an H. There it is. So Flash 25 is the code for that. That'll be tomorrow starting at 6 p.m. If you're on our email list, pay attention to that. You'll get an email out tomorrow on it. So we'll get that all there. Other than that, anybody else have any other questions, comments, or concerns? We'll wrap up the show, call it good for tonight. Remember, if you're watching anywhere besides our YouTube feed, if I did not get to your question, your comment, anything like that, I'm sorry. I wasn't ignoring you. StreamYard and Facebook don't always play nice. So to prevent that from happening, just go ahead and check out our YouTube channels. I'll get you the links for those. You can head over to either one of them because we have two of them. We have the one for Fat Dad Wholesale, and then we have the one for Our Success Group. So either one of those, what did I do with the link? I just had it here. What did I do with it? I think, there it is. FatDadLive.com or LiveOSG.com. Remember, anytime you can always reach out to us at success@OurSuccessGroup.com. If you're not a part of our Business Basics group, please go give that a like, follow, and check us out over there at Our Success Group
osgbusinessbasics.com. So that's osgbusinessbasics.com. Tomorrow night, we have training. If you're an OSG member, if you're not an OSG member, you can always find out more about our success group right over here at our successgroup.com. But tomorrow, 7 p.m., we're in week 3 of our 5 keys to marketing. And tomorrow night is AdWords. So that's going to start in about 26 hours from now. If you're interested in that, you can always become a member. You can see all of our training videos up to this point, everything that we've done. You'll be able to catch up, get right into it. Low cost, $79 a month. Come on, you spend less than that on coffee this month. And what did coffee get you besides the poops, right? I mean, I might as well invest in your business. And we can get on that high horse too, where people say, I don't have the money to invest in my business, but I'm buying a new pair of J's every month. Hey, priorities, people. If you want to take your side hustle further, then you need to start investing in yourself. Invest in yourself, invest in your equipment, invest in education. You are what you make the most of it. So get out there, get after it. You guys have an amazing night. We're gonna go get ready to coach. Maybe I'll hop back on here tomorrow. We're gonna do more things with it as I get more comfortable with that solo. We're gonna do more lives with that. I'm gonna try and get in a couple lives a week. I'm gonna try and start getting more little bite-sized videos, things like this, where I can just piece down, put things out there. Because if you're not following us on the YouTube, please do. We're just a few short members away from our 1,000. When we hit that, then I need to build up the hours, because I think we're still like 1,500 hours away. So I need to get those smaller chunks so I can put that stuff out there. So if anybody knows a good editor for YouTube videos, holla at your boy, because God, that seems like it's going to take forever. And I think that's what I've always dreaded. And that's why I always do live videos. Upcoming, we have next week, we are going to do some of the circular rounds from JP Plus. In the coming weeks, I saw something about somebody was able to etch on metal. So I might give that a go. Somebody else were able to do the wood marking with the burning cream. So I'm trying to find people have sent me stuff for these kind of crafty things that we can do to put things together to see if we're able to make things work. And Linda did not miss Thursday. From Thursday through today, we've had more rush orders in DTF transfers than we probably had in the last month put together. So it's been nonstop on that. And that's why I said, everything's been so damn busy, I haven't had a chance to actually make time for that. And that's 100% on me for not making the time for it. So I got a great lead on some ways to attach things to the ornaments. So that's still on the books to go through that. I have everything set, ready to go. I'm waiting on those to come in. So we're gonna do a lot more fun stuff to get for it. So Linda, no, you did not miss out. That is on me. But make sure you like and subscribe, because as soon as it goes, then you'll get a notification of it. You guys have a great night. Like I said, I think that is going to be my sign off. Invest in yourself. Invest in your equipment. Invest in your education. You're worth it. Make sure you get paid for it. Have a great night. We will see everybody